Broccoli has one of the best reputations of any vegetable. Most people see it as a safe choice, something you can add to almost any meal and feel good about, no questions asked. But here's the quiet problem. Broccoli hasn't changed. Your body has. As we get older, the way we digest food, fight bacteria, and handle natural toxins shifts. Small mistakes that barely mattered years ago can now drain nutrients, irritate the gut, or quietly work against your health, even when the food still looks healthy. If you've ever opened your fridge and thought, "This still looks fine," this video is for you. I'm not here to tell you to stop eating broccoli. I'm here to show you how doctors see the same mistakes again and again. Mistakes that are easy to fix once you know where the real risk comes from. By the end of this video, you'll know how to keep broccoli working for your body instead of against it, and how to avoid the hidden dangers most people never think about. Mistake number 1. Storing broccoli for too long. Most people don't think of time as a risk when it comes to broccoli. You buy it fresh, put it in the refrigerator, and assume cold temperatures keep it safe. But refrigeration only slows decay. It doesn't stop it. Research from the University of Illinois shows that broccoli begins losing vitamin C and folate soon after harvest. Even in the fridge, just a few days of storage can cut these nutrients nearly in half. The broccoli may still look fine, but much of the benefit your body expects is already gone. The bigger issue is moisture. Broccoli's tight, tree-like structure traps condensation in the refrigerator. Food safety studies show that this damp environment allows microscopic molds and bacteria to grow long before spoilage is visible. You may not see mold or smell anything unusual, but biological activity is already underway. For a younger digestive system, small exposures like this often go unnoticed. Later in life, the margin for error shrinks. Research in clinical nutrition shows that aging reduces stomach acid, slows digestion, and weakens immune defenses in the gut. That makes it easier for food-related toxins to trigger inflammation, dehydration, and lingering digestive discomfort. Doctors see this pattern often. Patients believe they were eating healthy, only to discover that stored vegetables were the hidden trigger behind stomach pain or fatigue. In documented cases, older broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables have been linked to intestinal irritation. Not because the food was obviously spoiled, but because it was kept too long. The fix is simple. Buy broccoli with tight florets, deep green color, and firm stems. Use it within 2 to 3 days for the greatest benefit. If you need more time, control moisture by wrapping it loosely in a paper towel and storing it in an open bag. For longer storage, blanching and freezing works well. Research from the University of California shows frozen broccoli prepared this way retains most of its vitamins while lowering microbial risk. Broccoli helps most when it's fresh. Let it sit too long, and it quietly loses the edge that made it healthy in the first place. Mistake number 2. Cooking broccoli at too high temperatures. Heat feels like safety. The hotter the pan, the more done the food, the better it must be for digestion. With broccoli, that instinct backfires. High temperatures don't just soften broccoli. They strip it of what makes it protective. Food science research shows that boiling or stir-frying broccoli at intense heat can destroy more than half of its vitamin C in minutes. Even more critical, excessive heat shuts down myrosinase. The enzyme broccoli needs to create sulforaphane, the compound linked to inflammation control, cellular defense, and cancer protection. That means broccoli can look fully cooked, taste familiar, and still deliver very little benefit. Heat also changes how broccoli behaves in the gut. Overcooking breaks down its fiber too far and releases sulfur compounds rapidly during digestion. Earlier in life, this might only cause mild gas. Later on, slower digestion and reduced enzyme output can turn that same reaction into bloating, cramping, and lingering discomfort. Researchers studying cruciferous vegetables have noted that older adults are especially sensitive to heavily cooked broccoli because heat alters both enzyme activity and fiber structure. Instead of supporting gut health, overly soft broccoli can irritate the intestinal lining and increase fermentation in the colon. That's why doctors often hear, "Broccoli doesn't agree with me anymore." In many cases, broccoli isn't the problem. The cooking temperature is. The fix is gentle heat. Light steaming for 3 to 5 minutes keeps myrosinase active while making broccoli easier to digest. If you sauté, keep the heat moderate and the cooking time short. The goal is bright green and slightly crisp, not dull, soft, and lifeless. Cooked right, broccoli still protects your body. Cook it too hard, and the heat does more damage than the vegetable ever could. And heat isn't the only part of broccoli that needs attention. The next mistake hides in the one part most people don't think twice about. Mistake number 3. Eating broccoli stems raw or undercooked. The stem looks harmless. It's firm, pale, and often treated like the clean part of broccoli. Many people slice it thin, toss it into salads, or barely cook it, assuming the tougher texture makes it healthier. What that texture actually signals is dense fiber. Broccoli stems contain significantly more insoluble fiber than the florets. Food digestion research shows that this type of fiber requires strong stomach acid and sufficient digestive enzymes to break down properly. When those systems slow with age, raw or lightly cooked stems can pass through the gut only partially digested. That's when problems begin. Undigested stem fibers can irritate the intestinal lining and increase gas and pressure as bacteria try to ferment them in the colon. Instead of supporting digestion, the stems become a source of bloating, cramping, and that heavy brick-in-the-stomach feeling many people notice after eating raw broccoli. Researchers studying cruciferous vegetables have noted that older adults report significantly more digestive discomfort from raw stems than from florets, even when portion sizes are the same. It's not a sensitivity to broccoli itself. It's a mismatch between fiber structure and digestive capacity. Doctors often hear, "I eat the stems because they're healthy." Nutritionally, that's true. Digestively, it depends on how they're prepared. The solution isn't to avoid stems, it's to soften them properly. Peeling the outer layer and cooking stems until they're tender, not crunchy, dramatically improves digestibility while preserving minerals and beneficial compounds. Light steaming or slow sautéing allows the fiber to relax without destroying nutrients. Prepared the right way, broccoli stems support gut health. Eaten raw or barely cooked, they can quietly work against it, even when the rest of the meal looks perfectly healthy. Mistake number 4. Eating raw broccoli with digestive issues. Raw broccoli often feels like the healthiest option. Crisp, fresh, untouched by heat. For many people, especially earlier in life, that works just fine. But when digestion becomes more sensitive, raw broccoli can quietly shift from helpful to harmful. The challenge lies in structure. Raw broccoli has rigid cell walls and dense fibers designed to protect the plant. Breaking those down requires strong stomach acid, active digestive enzymes, and efficient gut movement. Research in digestive physiology shows that when any of these slow, a common change with age or long-term digestive stress, raw cruciferous vegetables take much longer to process. As digestion slows, fermentation increases. Gut bacteria begin breaking down fibers that weren't fully handled earlier in the digestive tract, producing gas and pressure. This is why raw broccoli often triggers bloating, reflux, and abdominal discomfort in people with irritable digestion, even when portions are small. Studies in clinical nutrition have also shown that reduced stomach acid, a frequent issue later in life, limits mineral absorption from raw vegetables while increasing gastrointestinal strain. Instead of delivering nutrients smoothly, Raw broccoli can sit heavy in the stomach and irritate the intestinal lining. This creates a confusing pattern. People switch to raw vegetables to feel better, yet their digestion worsens. The problem isn't the intention, it's the preparation. A digestive system under stress doesn't need tougher work. It needs support. Gentle cooking changes everything. Light steaming or sautéing softens fiber, improves nutrient availability, and reduces fermentation in the gut. The broccoli still delivers its benefits, but without overloading a sensitive digestive system. Raw broccoli isn't a test of discipline. For certain digestive conditions, it's simply the wrong form. Choosing a gentler preparation can mean better digestion, better absorption, and far less discomfort, without giving up the food entirely. Mistake number 5. Storing broccoli in sealed plastic bags. Sealed plastic feels protective. You close the bag, trap the freshness inside, and assume you're doing broccoli a favor. In reality, that airtight environment often does the opposite. Broccoli is still alive after harvest. It continues to respire, releasing moisture and natural gases. When it's locked inside a sealed plastic bag, that moisture has nowhere to go. Condensation builds up quickly, especially in the refrigerator's crisper drawer. This trapped humidity creates a perfect environment for microbial growth. Food storage research shows that cruciferous vegetables stored in airtight plastic develop spoilage organisms faster than those allowed to breathe. The broccoli may still look green, but internally, quality and safety are already declining. There's another problem most people miss. As moisture accumulates, broccoli's texture breaks down unevenly. The florets soften on the outside, while the core stays firm, making it harder to cook evenly and harder to digest. For a sensitive digestive system, that combination increases irritation and fermentation once the broccoli is eaten. Over time, sealed storage also accelerates nutrient loss. Vitamins like C and certain antioxidants degrade faster in damp, oxygen-poor conditions. So even before broccoli shows visible spoilage, it may already be delivering less benefit and more digestive stress. The fix is simple. Broccoli needs airflow, not confinement. Store it loosely wrapped in a paper towel, then place it in an open or perforated bag in the refrigerator. This allows excess moisture to escape while still protecting the vegetable from drying out. Broccoli stays fresher, retains more nutrients, and behaves better in the gut when it can breathe. Seal it too tightly, and the damage starts long before you ever notice a smell or color change. Mistake number 6. Combining broccoli with dairy products. Broccoli and dairy feel like a natural match. Cheese sauce, creamy casseroles, butter, milk, familiar, comforting, and easy to digest. For some people, that combination works. For others, it quietly creates trouble. The issue starts with digestion speed. Broccoli is rich in fiber and sulfur-containing compounds that already take time to break down. Dairy, especially cheese and cream, slows digestion even further. When these two meet in the stomach, the entire process stalls. As digestion slows, fermentation increases. Broccoli's fibers sit longer in the gut, giving bacteria more time to produce gas and pressure. At the same time, dairy proteins and fats can thicken digestive contents, making it harder for the stomach and intestines to move food along smoothly. There's also an absorption issue. Broccoli contains compounds that support mineral uptake, while dairy is high in calcium. When eaten together in large amounts, calcium can compete with the absorption of iron and other minerals found in vegetables. The result isn't dangerous, but it does mean you may be getting less nutritional value than you expect from the meal. For people with sensitive digestion or mild lactose intolerance, this pairing can be especially uncomfortable. Even small amounts of dairy can amplify bloating, heaviness, or reflux when combined with fibrous vegetables like broccoli. This doesn't mean broccoli and dairy must never meet. It means portion and timing matter. Smaller amounts of dairy, lighter sauces, or fermented options like yogurt tend to cause fewer issues. Many people also feel better when broccoli is paired with olive oil, herbs, or lean proteins instead of heavy cream or cheese. Broccoli works best when digestion stays moving. Pair it with foods that support that flow, and it stays helpful. Pair it with the wrong companions, and even a healthy meal can leave you feeling weighed down. Mistake number 7. Eating broccoli contaminated with pesticides or nitrates. Broccoli looks clean by nature. Tight florets, thick stems, no visible dirt. That appearance creates a false sense of safety, because the biggest risk here isn't what you can see. Broccoli is one of the vegetables most likely to retain residues from pesticides and nitrogen-based fertilizers. Its dense, branching florets act like a sponge, trapping chemicals deep inside where surface rinsing often can't reach. Even broccoli that looks fresh and crisp may still carry trace amounts of these compounds. The concern isn't a single meal. It's repeated exposure over time. Research in food safety and environmental health shows that chronic intake of low-level pesticide residues can stress the liver and kidneys, the organs responsible for detoxification. As those systems slow with age, the body becomes less efficient at clearing what it doesn't need. Nitrates add another layer. When consumed in excess, nitrates can convert into nitrites in the body, compounds linked to oxidative stress and irritation of the digestive tract. While vegetables naturally contain nitrates, levels are often much higher in produce grown with heavy fertilizer use. For a sensitive digestive system, this can mean headaches, fatigue, or lingering stomach discomfort that's hard to trace back to food. Washing helps, but it's not always enough. Studies have shown that simple rinsing removes surface residue, but leaves chemicals lodged in the crevices of cruciferous vegetables. That's why people who rely heavily on broccoli for health can still experience unexplained digestive or systemic symptoms. The solution is awareness, not avoidance. Choosing organic broccoli when possible significantly reduces pesticide exposure. For conventional broccoli, soaking in water with gentle agitation, then rinsing thoroughly, removes more residue than a quick wash. Peeling the outer stem layer and cooking broccoli lightly can also lower chemical load. Broccoli supports health best when it's clean on the inside, not just on the surface. Ignoring what it carries from the field can quietly undermine the very benefits you're trying to gain. Mistake number 8. Eating broccoli while taking blood thinners. Now, this is where broccoli stops being just food. Broccoli is naturally high in vitamin K, a nutrient that plays a key role in blood clotting. On its own, that's not a problem. In fact, vitamin K is essential for bone strength and vascular health. The issue arises when broccoli is eaten without consistency while taking blood-thinning medications. Blood thinners work by carefully balancing how quickly blood clots. Sudden changes in vitamin K intake can interfere with that balance. Large portions of broccoli one day, none the next. Then a big serving again can cause medication levels to fluctuate in ways the body doesn't easily compensate for. This doesn't usually cause immediate symptoms, which is what makes it tricky. Instead, the effects build quietly. Some people notice increased bruising. Others experience unusual fatigue, lightheadedness, or lab results that seem unexpectedly off, even though they haven't changed their medication dose. What often gets missed is that the problem isn't broccoli itself, it's inconsistency. The digestive system absorbs vitamin K efficiently, and the body responds quickly. When intake swings from low to high, blood-thinning medications have a harder time doing their job predictably. The adjustment is not avoidance, it's stability. Eating similar amounts of vitamin K-rich vegetables regularly allows medications to be managed more accurately. Smaller, steady portions of broccoli are usually far better tolerated than large, irregular servings. broccoli can absolutely remain part of a healthy diet while taking blood thinners. It just needs to be treated with awareness, not guesswork. When food and medication stay in sync, the body handles both far more smoothly. Mistake number 9. Eating too much broccoli with thyroid problems. Broccoli is often praised for being protective, so it's easy to assume more is always better. For people with thyroid issues, that assumption can quietly backfire. Broccoli belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family, which naturally contains compounds called goitrogens. These substances can interfere with how the thyroid uses iodine, a mineral it needs to produce hormones that regulate energy, temperature, and metabolism. In healthy thyroid function, moderate amounts usually aren't a concern. The issue appears with quantity and frequency. When large amounts of broccoli are eaten regularly, especially raw or lightly cooked, goitrogenic compounds remain more active. Research in endocrinology shows that in people with existing thyroid dysfunction, this can further slow hormone production over time. The effects aren't dramatic or immediate. Instead, they're subtle and easy to miss. People may notice increased fatigue, feeling cold more often, mental fog, or stubborn weight changes, symptoms often blamed on age or stress rather than diet. Cooking helps, but it doesn't erase the issue entirely when intake is excessive. Heat reduces goitrogen activity, yet very large portions consumed day after day can still place extra demand on an already stressed thyroid. This doesn't mean broccoli must be avoided with thyroid problems. It means balance matters. Rotating vegetables, keeping portions reasonable, and ensuring adequate iodine intake all reduce risk. For many people, eating broccoli a few times a week, rather than daily in large servings, keeps the benefits without burdening thyroid function. Broccoli supports health best when it's part of a varied diet. When it becomes a staple in oversized amounts, especially with thyroid concerns, even a healthy food can start working against the body's balance. Mistake number 10. Eating spoiled or moldy broccoli. This is the mistake people assume they'd never make. Mold seems obvious. Spoilage feels easy to spot. But with broccoli, the danger often starts before anything looks clearly wrong. Broccoli's tight florets hide moisture deep inside. As it ages, that trapped moisture creates pockets where mold can begin growing out of sight. By the time you notice a faint smell, slight yellowing, or a soft texture, microscopic spoilage may already be widespread. The problem isn't just taste or texture. Certain molds produce compounds that irritate the digestive tract and place extra strain on the liver. Cooking doesn't reliably solve this. Heat can kill surface organisms, but it doesn't neutralize all toxins produced during spoilage. So cutting off a bad spot or cooking it thoroughly doesn't always make spoiled broccoli safe again. For a younger body, a small exposure might pass with little reaction. Later in life, the response can be very different. Slower detox pathways and a more sensitive gut mean spoiled food is more likely to cause nausea, dehydration, prolonged stomach upset, or lingering fatigue. What makes this mistake especially common is good intention. People don't want to waste food. They convince themselves it's probably fine. With broccoli, that guesswork carries more risk than reward. The rule here is simple and strict. If broccoli smells off, feels slimy, shows dark spots between florets, or has started turning yellow and limp, it's done. No trimming, no rinsing, no cooking it extra long. Fresh broccoli supports your health. Spoiled broccoli is no longer food. It's a burden your body has to fight. Ending this list comes down to one principle. Healthy eating isn't just about what you choose. It's about when to let go. Knowing when broccoli has passed its window can protect your digestion, your energy, and your overall health far more than forcing one more healthy meal. Taken together, these mistakes show one thing clearly. Broccoli itself isn't the issue. The way it's handled is stored too long, cooked too hard, eaten in the wrong form, or paired without awareness, broccoli slowly loses the qualities people rely on it for. Not all at once, but enough to affect digestion, energy, and overall comfort over time. The good news is none of these adjustments are drastic. You don't need to remove broccoli from your diet or follow complicated rules. Small, consistent changes in storage, preparation, and timing are often enough to restore its benefits. If this video gave you a new way to think about broccoli, take a moment today to look at how you're using it now, how it's stored, how it's cooked, and how often it appears on your plate. And if you want to keep learning how everyday foods can support your health more effectively as your body changes, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and stay with us here on Strong Seniors.